We're back with more Tapped Out with Brendan Tobin and Sean Levine on the BetQL Network.
Welcome back into Tapped Out here on the BetQL Network. Thank you to a new friend of the show, Anik Subramanian, joining us in our last segment. Brendan Tobin, me, the sports machine, Sean Levine. You like games, BT? Let's play a game. It's called Bet It or Forget It. This is the Underdog edition. Max Holloway is an underdog, plus 170. The blessed is best. He's the BMF, but he's also an underdog in his upcoming fight against Ilya Topuria. Everybody loves Ilya right now. Minus 210. Bet it or forget it on the underdog that night. Max Holloway.
Bet it. Coming off of one of the most impressive wins of his career, one of the most iconic knockouts of his career, one of the most iconic knockouts of all time. The best is blessed, man. I feel like for him, you get into striking matchups with him and you get into a volume game. It's a tough ask for somebody like Ilya. It's a big jump into the pool. It's a much different opponent than it is against Alexander Volkanovski, who I do feel like he got a little bit tenderized for him going into that fight. Ilya is still dangerous, don't get me wrong, but I just think that Max Holloway just presents so many problems. He's become so good at that close range spinning back kick, the volume game that he can play with his striking. I get him as a dog. I just cannot pass it up.
I mean, you might as well call him Iron Mike Tyson because he's knocking out everybody nowadays too, right? He just completely crumpled up Korean Zombie in what was an awesome night. And then obviously pointed to the middle of the octagon, knocked out Justin Gaethje in the BMF fight. So do you think he knocks out Ilya Topuria too? Because you can get like 5-1 on that.
No, I think he's going to win by decision.
All right. I was hoping you were going to say yes, and we were all going to pool a bunch of money together and watch Max point to the center of the octagon and knock Ilya Topuria's teeth out and celebrate, meet up in Vegas. And this guy says decision. What a tool. Sean O'Malley once called you the fat guy on the left. He's an underdog, plus 120 against Merab Dvalishvili at minus 140. This one's tough for me because I, like everybody else, huge Sean O'Malley fan. Merab is the machine, as am I, so I don't want to bet against that guy. Great sense of humor. Merab's like a real funny guy. And also, Merab is a tough one because it wasn't that long ago. It was, I want to say, a calendar year, maybe a year and a half ago when he fought Petr Yan. Merab was a huge underdog. He was a 3 or 4-1 underdog that night at BetMGM. Has he really gotten that much better, having basically 2 fights in between where all of a sudden he's a favorite against the champion? Bet it or forget it, Sean O'Malley plus 120, the underdog in his fight against Merab.
Insults aside from Sean O'Malley, I actually am going to bet this. I think that I'm a little bit worried about the size discrepancy. And when I talk about that, I mean just the range that Sean O'Malley can play at with this fight. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be in a lot of danger from Merab. We'll definitely get a sense of how Sean does handle a guy with the grappling prowess of a guy like Merab, because if he does get his hands on him, man, he's really tough at the takedowns, continue to take you down, slam you down. So that is a different wrinkle, but I just worry about that size discrepancy and the fact that he's got to go in through the fire of Sean O'Malley's unorthodox, striking, the way that he hits from range and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I think Sean O'Malley as a favorite, as an underdog, I think there's value there, and I like him to keep his belt in this matchup. And I'm a big Merab fan, but I just think that you're getting Sean O'Malley at underdog money, and there's still some problems that Merab has to solve going into this one.
First of all, if you like Sean as an underdog, I would get in where you fit in. I would get to the window. I'd get to your BetMGM app like yesterday, because a lot of people come to fight night. At some point, it's going to go down to even money, and then he'll probably end up talking about Sean being a minus 120, minus 140. I can damn near guarantee that. So right now, if you like Sean O'Malley, on the flip side of that, if you like Merab, you can probably wait a little while, and I think eventually come fight night, get him as the underdog. That's going to be a great fight. I don't know, man. Like, he knocked out Aljamain Sterling, and Aljo and Merab, just because they're training partners, it's not fair to say all of the same thing's going to happen to him. I actually think that Merab being a real laid-back, funny type of cat, it serves him better. A lot of people would come into a fight like that emotional. He knocked out your best friend. I'm going to knock him out. Kind of like we saw your boy Cody Garbrandt come in a couple of times against former friend turned foe TJ Dillashaw. I don't think it's going to be an emotional fight for Merab. You know what I mean? Like, he's a laid-back cat where he's going to come in ready.
Yeah, I think he's going to come in ready for sure. And I think that, my big critique I'd say about Aljo in that matchup, Aljo, I just think for the division, I think really in the sport, he just doesn't have very good hands. Like I think Marab will go in there throwing a little bit more free, not feeling as tentative. But it's just like you're talking about a guy like, what is he, 5'3"? Like it's just he's gotta go through a bit of a buzzsaw to get there. If he can get his hands on him though, and we do see these guys who are just relentless grapplers, and if Sean throws a kick and gets put off balance, like then he can get rounds in the bank. So it may come to a point where Sean's going to need the knockout, but I do think he's capable of getting it.
Jake, can you fact check BT? 5'3"? I know Marab's short. 5'3"? Why don't you just put him on top of a horse and call him a jockey? Are you kidding me, dude? He's got to be 5'5", 5'6".
They say 5'6". I mean, they say 5'6". I don't know, dude.
BT, look, how tall are you? 6 feet? You're like normal human height for a man. I'm 5'9", which really, I'm like 5'10", which means I'm really like 5'9" on a good day, with high heels on. You know how we short people do it. Dude, that's quite the insult. If you told somebody I was 5'6", if you said you did radio with somebody that was 5, I might have to quit on the spot.
Is it like, honestly, is it that much of a difference? 5'6", 5'3"? I mean, samesies.
Yeah. When you're short, yes. When you're tall, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, actually,
I apologize, Marab. I apologize. I apologize.
Okay, all right.
He's not the tiny machine. He's just the machine.
Yeah, see, that was a dig. That was unnecessary. That's heightism is what it is. Robert Whitaker is an underdog. The Reaper. Why do they keep making this guy an underdog? Plus 175 against Hamzat Chimaev at minus 225. Dude, has anybody not earned a minus 225 more than Hamzat Chimaev? I mean, seriously, what has he done to be a minus 2 against Robert Whitaker? Say something for the next minute here, because I'm going to go check my bank account and I'm going to put all my money on the Reaper that night at plus 175. Bet it or forget it. Do you agree with me on the underdog that night?
Yeah, so far 3 for 3 on the underdogs, man. I'm going to bet it. I don't get it. I don't really understand it, especially the way that if we would have seen maybe, it kind of made a little more sense the last time these guys were matched up, because Robert had just come off the loss to DDP, right? So like it made a little more sense, because you're like, oh, is he a little bit long in the tooth? Is he getting a little bit? But his last fight against Imamov, whew, I mean, he looked as good as he's looked in a long time. That was a vicious KO. He had Imamov shook out of his shoes. I didn't really get that one, man. I didn't get the last time. I do want to correct myself. I'm sorry. He did come off the win against Paulo Costa, but it is Paulo Costa, so like it made a little more sense, I guess. But the way he looked last time, how crisp he looked, getting a knockout in less than 2 minutes, I don't know, man. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Plus Hamzat, I mean, like, where is his body at? What's his health? What's he training like? How?
All good questions.
All of these are mysteries. I don't know.
And for Robert Whitaker, there is no mystery. And if you didn't know that he wasn't in his prime, you might think he is. If you look in the last decade, he's only lost to champions. Robert Whitaker, damn it, dude, I don't want to say it because it sounds so ridiculous talking about a minus 225. Hamzat should be the underdog in this fight, and Robert Whitaker should be the favorite. Plus 175, dude. I haven't seen a fight that far off since Marab was a plus 300. And I remember calling both you guys in the morning saying, is this right? Should Marab be plus 300? And I was right about that one. Gilbert Burns, I know where you're going in this one. Bet it or forget it on the underdog on Gilbert Durinho Burns plus 130 against Sean Brady minus 150.
Yeah, I'm bad to ask about this because Gilbert's my guy.
Guy.
I don't know if I'm gonna bet it though. I'm probably gonna just forget it, just because I think there are fair questions. Like, Gilbert is coming off a couple losses. He just lost to JDM in Miami. Now, he did take some time off, so it's good to see that he's, healed properly and all that type of stuff. He had the loss to Bilal after he was kind of cooking there for like 3 straight fights. But, yeah, what's Gilbert? Gilbert is 37 now, so he's getting a little bit up there. And Sean Brady, I think, is, looking for that signature win to get him back. I mean, Gilbert's 38 now, so he's getting a little bit up there. I just don't think I want to touch this one. I don't need hard insurance. I don't need to bet against my guy, but I don't know if I'm going to bet my guy for this fight.
Can you imagine calling somebody your guy 8 times in a radio segment and then not betting on him?
That's my guy.
That's our boy Brendan Tobin down there in Miami. I love him. Yeah, I know he comes on the show. We're friends. I'm not gonna.
I'll pick him to win when it comes time. I'll say like him by sub or something like that. But it's a dicey proposition, man. Like Sean Brady, I think is looking for that one that is like, everybody thought that Sean Brady was going to be like the truth, and this is going to be the next guy coming. I think he's definitely still right the ship. He beats Kelvin Gastelum his last time around, but Kelvin's as inconsistent as they come. I think you beat Gilbert Burns. You definitely show that you're right back in that game at the welterweight division. But man, a lot of I do think Gilbert's got to be kicking himself for the way that Jack Della Maddalena fight went. I mean, he had that one basically in the bag and really fumbled at the goal line.
Sean Brady, that's our producer Jake. That's his guy, I believe is what they say. By the way, producer Jake set these odds. This is great. Will we see Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler ever fight? This according again to Jake Noaker. The odds, yes, 180, no, minus 230. So at this point, the underdog is it's less likely, according to Jake, that we're going to see them fight at plus 180. I kind of tend to agree with him. Bet it or forget it. Do we see Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor fight each other in the octagon?
Yeah, if I can get no at underdog odds, I think I'm definitely going to pick bet it. But I don't even know, man. Conor exhausts me on social media. He's lashing out because somebody, because Trump said Khabib's his favorite fighter. He's at a biker rally. I don't know what's going on with him. He's and then he told he revoked the fight from Michael Chandler and said, I'm going to go fight Max Holloway, who already has a fight. Like he's exhausting to follow. He's exhausting as a fight fan.
Oh, I know. Jake and I, every single week when we're doing prep before the show, he puts like some sort of Conor McGregor news in there because it's the responsible thing to do. It's a fight show. And it's become white noise to me. I see his name and I'm like, I don't know if he got arrested or if he showed up somewhere he wasn't supposed to, or if he turned off a fight or if he said something. But half the time I don't even talk about it. And then sometimes when I've got 30 seconds to feel like I just did, I do. That's Brendan Tobin. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine. 1 hour, fast hour already in the book. Coming up on the other side. Since we can't seem to get along, let's get it on. It's a segment called You Gonna Fight Me? Right here on the BetQL Network.